Hello? Hello. All right. You're only one person. What difference can you make? How many of you have ever been told this before? I have worked with a recipe that has helped me overcome these roadblocks when something was telling me that I am only one person, that I can't make a difference. These roadblocks stop motion. They stop people before they can move from an idea. My story begins with a star that had fallen. The star's name was Kiana. She was a close friend who passed away when I was in high school. She instilled this image of passion in me and was a living example of its definition. I could remember her saying, I dance. I am a dancer. See, this world is my dance floor, and I dance all around it. I inspire those who hear my soul through my silence. I speak to those who listen hard enough to my movements. I read passion with every intentional sway or pop that I make. I dance, and that is what I do. She had a complete disregard for its societal worth or career practicality. She emphasized that that is what she did. She danced, and she had no interest in doing anything else. I remember asking myself, why do stars fall? Then remembering when I was a kid, always being told that if I were to ever see one, that I was supposed to make a wish, that wishing on a star could make dreams come true. Given an unfortunate situation, I was determined to make something out of that. But what? Although I didn't have the same passion as she did, I knew that somebody could benefit from the passion that she had for dance, who I could help. Kiana was my star, and I had no dream to wish on her for, but I knew that I could help someone. I knew that I could make a difference through using the passion that she had. Although I didn't share the same passion, I knew that passion was important to capture. That passion was something that had to be spread because a lot of people didn't know what it was. Through my scholarship, I encountered the next ingredient to the recipe. It was this girl. She was telling me her journey with dance. She was explaining to me all the troubles that she had experienced, from injuries to the lack of support. And it was exhausting just listening to her. I was like, why do you dance? Why do you dance if it's so hard for you? And she told me that I must try. I am possessed with a passion that won't let me stop. It is a flame that ignites me and never simmers. I rehearse my choreography over and over until I find a flaw that I must practice to perfect. I fall 7 times, proudly knowing that by the 8th time that I stand, that falling was for a reason. I try and I try until I can land on my feet the way that I intended before I leapt. I know that I can make a difference through dance because I won't stop until I do. She couldn't stop. Falling was not what she was afraid of. It was never trying to get back up that was. She had persistence. This was something that I knew all too well, going through trying to create this scholarship, that I had to get knocked down a couple times to be able to stand up and say, I did it. I knew what my scholarship meant, and I knew that passion was worth rewarding. After 3 years of having this scholarship, it wasn't until this year that I was able to come across the final ingredient to this recipe. In addition to a self-choreographed piece, the applicants are required to respond to an essay of why they dance. This particular applicant's response went, my splits are not perfect. I can't leap that high off of the ground, but dance has taught me that none of that matters. Dance is an expression that does not depend on how high you can get your leg in a performance. See, she respected the art, but appreciated the form as well. She knew that dance was more than just the technicalities. She knew that dance meant something, that there was a feeling. She learned the purpose of dance through her experience and in turn put it into her life. After hearing her reflect on how she understood this purpose of dance, it made me reflect on my own scholarship. It made me think about what is the deeper meaning of why I'm doing this. Although it intended to assist the recipients with their college funds, it meant something more. It meant providing this selection of students who have a passion that has a decreasing value in our society and giving them a space for somebody to believe in them. I realized that when you have a passion and you have a purpose involved in something, that risk almost doesn't exist, that it becomes determination. See, I was determined not to let my friend die in the passion that she possessed to go with her. I was determined not to let this girl who tried to get her dance perfect every single day not to go unrecognized. I was determined not to let this girl who had an understanding for dance not share that understanding with others. It was from my understanding that I was able to create a space for these people to have somebody to believe in them. My story is composed of other people's stories because it's not only about me. It is about all the people who have helped me, all the people who I've learned from. Through dance, these 3 young women taught me something important. Their stories aren't just about leaps and spins. Their stories are about traits and characteristics through which I've been able to learn the recipe of motion. What difference can you make? One day, a woman was walking along the shore, and in the distance, she sees a figure. As she gets closer, she sees this little boy repeatedly doing a motion. She approaches him and says, "Little boy, what are you doing?" The little boy turns and says, "All these starfish got washed on the shore. And tonight's a low tide. If I don't save them, they'll all die." The woman turned and looked. There's thousands of starfish on the shore. She turns to the little boy and says, "Little boy, you should just give up. You're only one person. What difference can you make? You can't save them all." And the little boy bent over, picked up another starfish, threw it back in the water, and said, "I saved that one." Who is this little boy? If any of you find yourself saying, "I love what I do. I can't not do what I do. I'll die if I don't do this," you have a passion that you have to hold on to. If any of you find yourself saying, "I have to keep trying. I can do this," you have a persistence that you can't lose sight of. If any of you find yourself saying, "I know why this is important. I know how this can help people," you know its importance and you have to share its value with others. If any of you find yourself saying, "I won't stop until I get it. I'm not okay being here. There's something more than being here," you have a drive to do something. I challenge any of you who are saying these things to use this recipe to make motion, to overcome these roadblocks. Who is this little boy? This little boy is me. This little boy is you. This little boy is in all of us. Whenever anyone says to you, you're only one person, what difference can you make? Remember that the power of one is the power to do something, even if it's only throwing one starfish back in the sea.